Shalom, Mashpaka. Wow. Still kind of sinking in. Today is my last day in this corporate American lifestyle. I spent over 4 years working with this company in customer service, technical support, and then quality assurance, doing complaints and also overseeing training, non-conforming materials, and trend analysis on the failures. And Yahuah has finally called me out, Baruk Yahuah. I feel so filled with thanks for him doing that, even though it is kind of scary, and I don't know exactly what is going to come of this new adventure. I'm planning on doing a lot of videos, I guess, with this same type of style. Obviously, it looks like I need to straighten the camera a little bit. Sorry about that, but you know, just starting out with this and showing his creation. I think that it can be kind of relaxing to look out the window and to see everything passing by, and you see the stuff that's close goes zipping by, and then the stuff that's more distant moving by slowly. So hopefully that's a comfort to folks out there. I think that a lot of times when we turn on social media and whatnot, everything's go, 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 and stimulating colors and sounds and everything. Like, it's too much. So, you know, I want to be able to share something that may hopefully help people to relax a little and to become more mindful of the Most High and His will for our lives, and also the Shalum that can exist for us when we walk in our roles, like what He actually designed us to be, to do, and how we relationship with Him and each other. So Baruk Yahuah, man, you know, that's all fire. That's Taub. Yeah, so just going back a little bit to this thing of it being my last day, you know, I've been getting a lot of confirmations from the Father that I do not belong there. And I mean, I know, like, I'm in the world and not of the world. You are in the world and not of the world. And so in a lot of ways, you don't fit in anywhere in quote-unquote Babylon. But, you know, to see how fake people are, to see how phony and how false they are, it's pretty mind-blowing, actually. You know, people who know that I'm leaving, who don't come and say anything to me, but would try to smile, wink, and nod throughout all these years, you know. But when you don't partake in the reindeer games, like you don't do the Christmas party, and you don't do the birthday cakes, and you just don't do those things, then they, deep down, they hate you. You know, they just can't have a justified reason to do it. So, you know, it is what it is. I am thanks-filled about it and very excited about what's coming next. Although, like I said, you know, it is it's a huge undertaking. It's a very great risk to start your own business and to go out subcontracting for, you know, for like a shipping company, but I believe in Amunah that if I work hard, that the Father will Baruk it, and that it will be, tremendous favor. Tremendous. I feel like I'm in a season of the latter rain, and this is the thing to wait for, because sometimes it feels like it takes a while. I want to say hi to my beautiful Asha. I just said a word I'm not supposed to say. Please forgive me. Yapa Asha, which is a Qadash way of saying filled with beauty. I love you, baby. I miss you already, and I just left. Thank you so much for helping me, for getting up and helping me, seeing me off on my last day to go into this matrix. And I got to delete the alarm on my clock that was for 3:30. It's deleted. This was the last time that thing is going to disturb me in the fourth watch. It's very bright out here right now, but I also just realized that I'm like really late. It's already, this is the time I'm usually at work. So there you go. It's funny because actually my wife and I just talked about how, what are they gonna do, fire you? And I know that she meant it as a joke, and my response seemed kind of serious. But I think that my response was serious because I realized, like, I'm late. Like, I'm really late. I need to go. Thankfully, this light is turning right away. Usually I have to sit there and wait. Baruk Yahuah. So yeah, woohoo! Last day, a few weeks ago, when I was on the fence about this decision, it's like the Father told me, you need to get up out of that seat. It's time for you to leave this place. And I'm sitting there at my desk, and a coworker comes over to report a non-conforming material to me and ask me a question about the form to fill out. And I turn around to look in their direction, and bam! My chair breaks, just snaps. The so-called metal, the cheap Amazon stuff that we get, it just cracked. I mean, yeah, the chair did last 4 years. Actually, you know what? That's not the original chair from 4 years ago. That's the chair that I got at Costco, actually only about 2 years ago. Come on, Costco! Yeah, it's not like I did anything to it to cause it, And what's funny too is I've lost a lot of weight, so I'm, under 190 pounds, like 188 pounds. It's not like I wasn't doing anything to put pressure on it. It just broke. It just Yahuah saying, boy, you need to get up out of that chair. I'm calling you out of there. I'm calling you to the open road right now. Yup. That big old truck that's out there that I got for you, and I got for you because you wouldn't have been able to get it on your own. You shouldn't have got it, right? It was amazing. I saw the truck online and fell in love with it, and they hadn't even finished servicing it or detailing it or anything yet. It was still dirty, but I started communicating with the Trey. Shout out to my guy Trey, man. A lot of love to you. Appreciate all your help, everything. It was at Gambling Chevrolet in Enumclaw. I love those names, Gambling and Enumclaw. Anyway, that big truck that's out there needs to be put to work like an ox to a plow. And oh boy, may he Baruk it, because it is a 2017 truck. It's got 104,000 miles on it, and we're going headlong into this adventure of RV transport. And you know, the enemy's been trying to discourage me. I watch as much content as I can to try to absorb and learn everything about the line of work, the industry, the economics, you know, the protocols, how you deal with the companies. I'm gonna be going to an orientation in exactly 1 week for 2 days to learn all about the company that I'm signing on with and how they handle all their permits and documentation in the apps and everything you use. And you got to log all your hours like a truck driver would for DOT regulations. But we had to do a lot of large things to the truck to outfit it, to get it prepared and equipped, like the fifth wheel hitch and the exterior fuel cell and the tool boxes that we're going to be getting installed when I get there. There are vendors that are in that area, Indiana, near Elkhart and Goshen, that have great prices in outfitting the vehicles. Selected a company called Dooley Depot to handle you know, those undertakings. Baruk Yahuah. I'll be spending a week in Indiana before hitching up to my first load, and Abba willing, I'll be grabbing a fifth wheel trailer that has a high pay rate and bringing it all the way back to Washington. 2,100 miles or 2,200 miles. So yeah, we're going to be logging everything. Going to log all the bobtail miles, which is the truck traveling without a trailer, and then, you know, different types of trailers that we can be pulling, destination trailers, I guess, travel trailers, you know, the bumper pulls and the fifth wheels. We did start an LLC, which is narrow path transport, in homage to obeying the commandments of the Most High Yah and walking in Torah, the way to go. That was a little logo I thought of for the company. Narrow path transport, the way to go. Because, you know, only Yahuwah knows. Maybe in the future we'll get hired on to do jobs, I guess like independent or private from this other what do you even call them? A vendor? I don't know what you call them, but shipping companies out in Indiana, and you basically like subcontract, sublease with them. You're on 1099. You'll write off everything, write off all your expenses, etc. So it is going to be exciting. I'm going to have a lot of time out on the road. I want to do some long form, slow tainment. Probably not as chatty as I am right now, but I'm also, what would you call it? I'm also, I guess it's documenting, right? beginning of this whole new phase. This whole new phase. Today's a very significant part of that because it is my last day with this employer. So that's going to be, the end of the steady check, which is just not enough, family. Look, my household strives to be conservative in all of our expenses. We cut out everything that we could, right? In 2020, when we left Florida, sold our house, bought a trailer, and we've been living in it ever since. And we started cutting out everything. Just things like, subscription to streaming music or subscription to streaming movies. Switching to the least expensive, like leaving AT&T and going to Mint, where we did save money. And then now we've even left Mint and gone to this new company, Visible, which is even cheaper than that. All the stuff in the diet, all the things that we used to go to the grocery store to buy that we just don't anymore. We're really loving this company, Azure, Azure, right now. You could look them up. They have whole food products. We're getting chicken and coffee and cream and butter and spices and coconut oil, things like this from them. It's kind of a co-op type of situation. You help to unload the truck yourselves. You sign on at a drop location, place your order, they load it into the truck with, all the other folks from that drop and the other drops that truck has on its route. And then you go there and you get your stuff. So we've had a couple times where we had near scares with this company because they're very inflexible about when you go and get your stuff, especially when you have stuff like cream. It's not kept in a refrigerator for you. You got to go and get it and get it home. But they were having their drops on the Shabbat, and we're like, oh, what are we gonna do? And then we would contact the drop coordinator that's hosting and say, we need to come after the sun goes down. And they were actually accommodating, and Baruk Atah Yahuah, we would be palaling, waiting for them to call us back and being like, Father, may they understand and give us favor, and they did. Hallelujah. So it looks like this one that we're on with now is gonna be on Thursday. So thanks-filledly not on Shabbat, however it is on Shabuah. And Shabuah is the annual renewing of the oath that we have with Yahuwah. There's not a restriction on travel. There is an offering made by fire, so we'll be doing that. There is the grain offering, the 2 loaves of leavened bread. Which reminds me, we got to get the bread maker out and pass through. Definitely feel like one of the things I'm going to have to be extremely aware of is how people drive these days. I've never seen nothing like it. And some of it could be this place. I'm being, but I'm also trying to be realistic about it, that it's probably going to be all over the place. But people ain't in their right minds, man. I mean, yeah, they're distracted, entertained, and amused, but they're also altered. And we're noticing it more and more. And my siblings know what I'm talking about. So we gotta watch out, because some of these folks are just straight up dangerous. And I think I started talking about this a second ago and kind of forgot. You know, none of this is scripted. It's all raw. But like, the enemy's trying to discourage me. I'm out there watching a lot of different content to try to, you know, increase my understanding in this whole work. And there starts to all of a sudden be all these voices saying, like, you know, don't get into this. Oh, you know, it's you know, now's not the time. And, well, although even one of those videos was from 2 years ago, but still, I know where I'm at with this, and I know what Yahuwah is communicating to me about all this. And if I didn't do this now, it would never happen. And we are in a slow drowning. Being a single income household in this inflationary economy, with an employer who's literally abusive in the fact that they continue to make promises and kick the can down the road about my promotions and the restructuring of my job description. I'm actually doing the tasks of multiple people right now. 3 different people's works consolidated into one person's job. I'm over here working heartily as unto Yahuwah, and if Abba wanted me to stay there, then I would have favor there, and those people would have actually done what they said they were going to do, what my manager claims to want to do. But of course, you know how it is in the corporate world. Oh, my hands are tied. Bro, even when you go for a review, they have it built into their stupid system that you can't get a perfect grade, because we want to encourage you that there's always room to improve. You need to reward the people who work hard, that they know that you see their hard work, because all you're gonna do is raise up a culture of mediocrity and idiocracy. That kind of summing up what's wrong with our entire country. Your little philosophies of how you should manage suck, okay? Your exit interview questions in HR are a joke. They're not gonna help the company to improve. It's just making you feel like you're accomplishing something, okay? And it's actually a cancer and a virus to have someone running HR for a company who is filled with pride, condescending, has an attitude that they're better than people. You guys know the type, right? When they communicate, they'll be like, again, like I said, or let me remind you, or as covered in my previous email. When you're actually trying to ask questions, get help, and learn, this is the attitude that you get. And most of the time, you didn't tell me anything about it before. Stop gaslighting me. Stop acting like you're so noble and you already articulated all this information in a helping way, which you didn't. But then you have this attitude as well, you know? So, over it, bro. Like, so done with that. And when the leadership of the company gives all that authority to that type of a person, the writing is clearly on the wall. I've never seen such a turnstile of people in and out and in and out of this company. Like it's a brothel. You know what I mean? It's pathetic. I don't even want to try to take the time to learn different folks' name, because they're here 1 minute and gone the next. You know? And this is really funny. They had me over the training, which I was manually logging in an Excel spreadsheet. Most of the work that I was doing was on Excel spreadsheets. But in our policies and procedures, that responsibility is under the HR department. Ha ha ha! Yeah, right. Yeah, right. What a joke. It's a shame though, you guys, because I actually, when I first came to that company, there was a lot of different folks there, and it was much more like a family environment. But you know, now it's trying to grow itself into some kind of corporate thing, and you know, they took on like 3 different directors in the past year. They're not there. They're not there. You know, so that's why they came back and they're like, oh, sorry, no one is getting any kind of a raise whatsoever, not even a cost of living raise, family, right? Let alone all the promises to, you know, oh, well, we know that you're doing more in this role than was initially designed for, so we're going to do a market analysis and see what other companies are paying, and then we're going to rewrite your job description, and we're going to give you, you know, compensation. Okay, well, I'm taking you at your word. I'm bringing it up again a year later. Again, a year later. Meanwhile, you know, I got a household to care for. I got mouths to feed. You can only trust known liars for so long. And you know what? You can only dishonor a man for so long. Right? I mean, I guess he's going to have to choose if he's going to just lay down and take it and become a serf or whatever, or if he's going to seek an opportunity to do something else. You know what I mean? And while I was on the topic earlier about this place, I'm talking about the state of Washington. And I know that there are problems everywhere in every state. But bro, let me tell you, this place is loco. Totally insane. We saw Mossberg shotgun for $197 at Walmart. So it was like, hey, I want to get this for home defense. There's going to be times, you know, that I'm away, and you know, I want my shot to be able to have this. So I understand. Okay, they got a 10-day waiting period in the state of Washington. It's like, okay, fine, you know, I got a few weeks. Let's go ahead and go get the ball rolling. So we go to the Walmart, and the person that came over to help me knows nothing. I mean, nothing about that department, knows nothing about hunting or firearms or... Poor guy, he's really young, and yeah. So he comes over and he's like, oh, it has to be a certified person who does the transaction, and he's on medical leave, but my manager would be able to do it, but he went home early. So let me see if there's anyone else. And he gets on his little radio and they're having their conversation, and he comes back and he's like, would you be able to come back tomorrow? So I'm frustrated, but I want to verify that, okay, if I do come back tomorrow, it's going to be well. Like, there will be someone here tomorrow then? Oh yeah, there'll be someone here tomorrow. So we leave, come back the next day. A totally different son of Babylon shows up. Same exact scenario though. Replay all the same stuff. Okay, this person's on medical leave. This person went home early. This person's on lunch. There's no one. I said, okay, I need to speak to the manager. The manager comes over. I explain what I just told you. I'm so sorry, sir. Oh, I'm so sorry, sir. That should never have happened. I will speak to them. No, I can help you. We can get process started. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, great. So they start putting stuff in the computer. Then they're asking me for my driver's license. They start putting information in. Oh, the system won't allow me to progress any further. Have you taken the required online safety training certificate, whatever? I said, no, I've never heard of that. I'm not familiar with that. What's that all about? she holds up a framed picture. Oh my gosh. Oh. Go to this website, pay $18, another tax, have a waiting period to receive your certificate, I guess. So I'm like, okay, let me get this clear. So you're saying there's like an additional fee and then a waiting period so that I can turn around and have another waiting period. Well, yeah, but usually you don't have to wait as long once we have the certificate, so it's just vague, it's not guaranteed, it's nothing. What a joke. Meanwhile, if you're in another state, they can just run you through the quick background check, 15 minutes, boom, in and out of the door in the same day with your firearm. And I know people will be like, well, what's the big deal? So if you have to wait, if you can't wait, you must need it for the wrong reason. No, bro, you don't know everything, okay? The reason that I do need it is for home defense. It's our right to have it in the first place without any infringement, duh. And no, sometimes you can't wait because maybe the husband is going away on a long journey. Man, people are or they'll be like, well, what's wrong with having a training? Not understanding that all it is to make a longer waiting period and implement an additional tax. But something must be in the water around here, because the folks that I encounter excuse this stuff away or think it's normal. I was talking to a coworker here yesterday who's a hunter and was explaining how elk season, they only get like 1 week, and then they have to try to get some kind of a certificate that also has that you have to wait for. So now, and it's for the chance to be able to bag some bigger game. Say, I don't remember exactly what he was explaining to me, but basically our conversation was on how whack the laws and regulations are and how things are so out of control. So you pay extra money and lose your window, your hunting window. You might lose 2 or 3 days just for the opportunity to possibly be able to get this or that, to go on a waiting list or something. And he's like explaining, like, you could be out hunting and you could be looking at the game, and then you got to try to discern quickly, like, if it falls into the appropriate category for, sometimes by the time you figure it out, you lost your shot and stuff. I was just like, man, this is crazy. All this stuff is so crazy. And, these people that create this stuff don't have the real life understanding and common sense. It shouldn't be the ones who are actually dictating these kinds of things to us. But this is nothing new, family. This is how the beast system works. This is how tyranny happens. It's drip, 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 the slow boiling frog. And we are way past some kind of altering the course, through elections or whatever. This land is under judgment. We've been watching, the weather patterns, paying attention to fiery mountains and earthquakes and whirlwinds and tropical storms and all that for years. And now the normalization of the whirlwinds in the United States is mind-blowing to me, right? And you can, we saw a couple channels that sprung up on YouTube that seemed to be well-funded, heavily promoted, lots of technical equipment on hand, a whole weather house dedicated to it. And it just so happens that all these things are put into place, gained popularity, lots of viewers and everything else for these events now that are unfolding. And the younger folks that are most commonly probably viewing this content, these channels, don't really have a foundational understanding to base it on. Like, this ain't normal. The frequency and intensity of these whirlwinds is not normal. Okay? To have them like back to back to back to back to back days, going across, 6, 7, 8 states and stuff, whatever's going on. It's crazy. Yesterday I clicked on one that was showing the devastation and the destruction. And it's hardly mentioned on the news, and if it is, it's all chalked up to global heat rises, whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. Boy, if I say the phrases, I'm gonna get all kinds of warnings and messages and different things, and I can't even have a conversation with my brothers and sisters. I am thanks filled to the Most High Yahuah that after today I will have a week's time to spend with my family, with my Yashar'Al, before I have to get up and out on the road. We still have a few things that we're trying to get moving pieces, commercial insurance, all the gear that I gotta acquire. Had to make the reservations for the hotel. And on top of all this, I'm trying to get a new prosthetic leg right now. I mean, I'm already in the process, so it's not like I'm just now starting out, but I'm trying to get it delivered. It looks like I'm not going to be able to get it before I leave, so I'll have to wait to get it until I get back. Which kind of stinks, but just, again, trusting the Father, leaning on the Father. I'll be going and doing my driving test and everything with this, they call it a check socket, so it's kind of like a temporary version of your finished leg. So it's heavier, and it's kind of a dead weight, because the prosthetic feet have energy storage and energy return, kind of like a spring. And so this foot would be, I might say that it's a 2, and the foot I'm getting is a 10, because it is. I've had this blade now for several years. You guys know, when you see the amputees running in the Paralympics, they have those blade, feet springs that they run on. It's one of those. But the guy outfits them for like everyday use and stuff. So anyway, I'm late, and it is what it is, but I'm arriving at my destination, so I'm gonna get off of here. I love you guys. Please send any Palal requests, questions, comments, like, subscribe, do all the things. We're gonna be having more and more videos coming up, long videos showing the countryside. And I wanted to invite people who are in the north and northwest part of the United States to email me if they're interested in breaking bread or immersion or any of those things. All right. Baruk Atah and Ahaba Mashpaka Shalum. By the power and will of Yahuah, Yahusha, the Messiah, the one who we love him because he first loved us, right? Because while we were yet enemies, at enmity with the Most High, he humbled himself, he took on flesh, he took on the role of a servant, he lived a perfect, righteous, or Qadash life. He willingly laid his life down, no one took it from him.
He bore our iniquities on his body.
He was impaled on a tree.
He was in the tomb 3 days, and he rose again in power, in sovereignty, in majesty, in all esteem. All esteem Yahusha. Yahusha comes in the name of the Father, Yahuah. Baruk is he who comes in the name of the Most High.
Thank you so much for stopping by. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. You'll also find the email in the description of all YouTube videos. So send us a message, a praise report, a prayer request. Much love.